Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how to create a dot-to-dot book. First off, I realized I haven't thanked you all. I should be thanking you all. Thank you so much. I'm now at over 2,000 subscribers and it's growing every day. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who stuck with me. And I just really appreciate everyone's support. Honestly, it's amazing and thank you so much. Also, a lot's been changing around here. I now have a mic. I know audio is a problem for some people, so please let me know down in the comments if the audio works now and if it sounds better, because I'm trying to fix things up, make things a little bit fancier, a little more professional. I want to be able to create good quality YouTube videos so that you all can learn and enjoy them. And yeah, anyway, so let's get into it. Dot-to-dot books. Dot-to-dot books are big right now, and I am really excited to be sharing with you how to create them. So let's get right into it. Hello again everyone. As you can now see, we're in the lovely world of Canva on my computer. So basically, for those of you who aren't familiar with Canva, it's a super duper easy graphic design software, and I absolutely love it, and I'd highly recommend it for creating any type of anything, honestly. If you're trying to design something, go with Canva, link in the description. Anyway, so to create dot-to-dot books, well, pages in general, first step, you are going to need to get a graphic. This graphic can be inside somewhere in Canva. You can just go into the elements and search for something, unicorn, and just, I don't know, take a unicorn and then create a dot-to-dot page with this. This would be fairly easy to do. Yeah, so you can take it from Canva, you can just go online somewhere and grab a graphic. And you don't need to worry too much about copyright issues because you're just using the graphic to trace it. Though you might incorporate elements from the graphic into your dot-to-dot, and I'll show you that later. But basically, just focus more on tracing it. But do think about what's inside. For example, this unicorn, with a dot-to-dot, you just trace around it. But you'd also have to think about the inner designs, because it's not going to be that cool to create a dot-to-dot around the unicorn and then just leave it at that. Because it kind of, the cool thing about dot-to-dots, for kids, is that, you shape the image as opposed to, it's just an outline of a unicorn shape. So it'd be great if it already had the little nostril, the eyelashes, the unicorn horn, the hair, and all that. Right now, I'm creating a bunch of dot-to-dot things. I'm really getting into that right now, this time of year. I'm really trying to get into activity books and everything. Dot-to-dot books are by far my favorite so far. So I'm gonna delete the unicorn. So as you can see, here's one I've created. I'm creating a bunch of Halloween ones right now. This is Frankenstein. And maybe you can tell, maybe you can't. But basically, I just took, this is a silhouette picture. And right here, these are just zigzag elements to create the hair. This I took from a Canva graphic and then just cropped it so that it just has this stitching effect. And then this is just a circle. It's super duper easy. And just make sure that with these design elements that you're doing black and white. Anyway, so this is just an example. I'll show you more how to do this later. But just bear that in mind when deciding on your graphic. So to start, here we go. I've got this lovely gravestone right here because Halloween, yay. So what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to take a circle. So I'm just going to copy it from right here and bring it down here. Obviously you go start with a circle. And one thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to change the color of this just so it's easier to see. I'm going to zoom in. All right, now I'm going to take the circle. What I like to do is bring the transparency down so it's at 50, which makes it a lot easier to see as I'm bringing it around. So now I'm going to just start and bring the circles, and I'm going to line them around this gravestone. Also, just so you know, the circle, what size is this at? I have it at its width 0.1 and height 0.1, so I have it pretty darn tiny. Yeah, and I'm just gonna bring it all the way around the gravestone and just, yeah, tracing just the outside shape. Now I'm just gonna speed my way through that process, so here we go. as you can see, I'm just gonna go full screen for a moment. I have put dots all around the gravestone. So one thing I haven't mentioned yet, okay, you wanna make sure that like dot to dots, it's all about straight lines. So make sure that when you're connecting the straight lines, like it works out. So obviously this appears rounded, so I put a lot of dots so that it'll appear rounded after all the straight lines are put together. And then here is just one straight line, so I did a nice big one here. You could also break it up and just put dots in the middle so it's a bit easier to follow, but I just did it that way. And then yeah, I just bring it around. So that's about it with the dots. Now I'm gonna show you the next part of the process. So to complete any dot to dot, one thing that you have to remember is that you need a line, and you're going to just put it somewhere, wherever you want, because the dot to dot is going to start somewhere. So I'm going to have it start right at this dot right here. So I'm having this line right here. This is connecting this dot over here to this dot, just like that. And just so you know, the line width that I'm using, okay, I've got a line weight of 3. Don't mind, I don't know if you can hear the airplane noises right now, but there's apparently an airplane going over me. So yeah, I've got a line weight of 3. It's just a simple straight line. Don't mind the airplane. Okay, and so now that I've done that, I'm gonna grab a number. And here we've got, so what I'm using, it's 12-point font, Montserrat Classic. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, I'm just assuming. It's bold. Okay, so now I'm gonna just start here, and I'm going to make sure that all the numbers go around every single circle around the image, kind of like so. So I'm just gonna copy it. This part is one of the most painstaking parts of the process. And one thing that I haven't mentioned yet is, like there are other tools that you can use, like other than Canva, to make it a bit easier to do these dot to dots. But from my own personal experience, they I don't know, they don't work as well. Like I've tried them, and like just the numbers end up overlapped and things like that, and it's just kind of messy looking. And they don't even add this line here. Like that doesn't really, it's kind of a messy thing. So that's why I just do it all on my own Canva, because that way I can just do the whole design process. Anyway, so I've just put a bunch of numbers right here, as you can see, and I have them so that they're fairly close to the circle. I'm not like being super accurate, like they're all the same distance, but I'm trying to be close. And one thing that's just really important is you want to make sure that it's clear which numbers go to which circle. So don't put them too close together. I try and put them on the outside just because I don't want it in the inside of the image, because in my opinion that looks a little bit messier. So yeah, so here's what I do, and I'm gonna just keep going around, and I'm just gonna speed forward so you can see as I do it. So here I go. Alrighty, and now I'm back. I have put numbers around the whole thing. I'm just gonna go full screen for you here. So here, the numbers span across. You can easily tell which connects to which, like which number correlates with which dot. And yeah, super duper easy. Depending on how complex the image, obviously you'll have more dots and more numbers and all that jazz. Like for example, Frankenstein over here, he gets to 66. So this one's pretty easy to gravestone. Like this one was very, very easy to do. Frankenstein over here was a little bit more complicated, as you can see. I'm just using him as an example if you're doing a more complicated image. So right here, like this is all his face. Like right here is kind of like his forehead / eyebrow, and then we go down to his nose. And then I think this is like his mouth, and then his chin. So here you'll see that like I put the number inside, I had the number outside. So it's a little bit like, I don't know, like obviously it's kind of clumped together, but it's clear like which numbers go where, like 35 to 36 to 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, you get the idea. So it is a little bit more complicated, this one, but it's easy to tell where the numbers go. So always, like especially if you're doing a complicated image, just kind of go back through the path and make sure that everything like is clear enough and you can tell which goes where so that no one else is confused by it. Okay, so now that we've done this, basically the dot to dot is about complete, and now we just gotta wrap up some final details. I'm going to quickly delete the image so you can take a peek. So here's what we're left with. Once someone goes through and does all this, like, it's just gonna look like, I don't know, somewhat of a block, and it's not that exciting. So the way we are going to make it look a little cooler is, first off, we're gonna add some shapes. Let's see. So as you can see, I just took this line. Sorry, I have this way of just doing my own thing and not talking about it. Okay, that's nice and thick. Let's go with 30. So I'm just going to recreate what's going on in the graphic here. Kind of like, let's see, bring it up to the line as much as possible. And then I'm just gonna follow along, creating this thing. Also, this is a random little hack when using Canva. Like, as you'll see, I'm doing this. I'm trying to like get it right here, but it keeps trying to line with the grid. I don't know how it works on Mac, but if you're on Windows, just hold the Control key and suddenly free movement. I just learned that the other day and it's changed my life. So please use that. Okay, and then one more here. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna delete it so you can see that's kind of a little bit cooler looking. Like, that makes the image a bit cooler. So again, I'm gonna fast forward, do all that, and then I'm gonna come back to you. Alrighty, I'm back again. So I've added lines around where it is in the original image. You can also see I added this little line down here just so it comes together a bit more to look like a gravestone. So I've added a lot of final details, and here's the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crop this even more. So I cropped it from a circle originally. So now I'm just gonna crop it around the RIP right here. That way we get rid of all the other stuff. Now I'm gonna change it back to black. And then we are nearly there. The last thing to do, so as you can see, all these circles are still partially transparent. So I'm gonna come up here, just bring it back and then bring it forward. And now everything is as transparent as it should be. And voila, that is our completed image. So yeah, someone will go through here and they'll bring it all the way around and down and then back. And then they've got their gravestone. And hurrah. And so if you want, especially if it's a more complicated image, I'd recommend this. You could even print it out. I actually printed out 2 of mine. Like, as you'll see right here, what did I do? Oh, this one was like a very complicated one I did. Voila. If you just look at the little screen down here, this was like a hand, like a zombie hand coming out of the ground, as you can see. And I printed it out and did it just because I wasn't sure if it would look good, like if it like all looked fine and dandy, and I'm actually like really happy with how it came out. So if you want to test your dot to dot pages that you create, you could totally print them out, do them, like see how they look. That's something I would definitely recommend. Also, another quick tip, make sure that when doing your low content books that you give it some space here. That way, I actually might need to move this over a little bit. That way, you won't have issues with KDP getting at you like for the bleed, so it doesn't extend too far. So anyway, that sums it up. I hope that this has helped you learn how to create dot to dot pages, and I hope that you enjoy creating them, because honestly I've been creating a ton and I think it's super duper fun. So yeah, I hope that this has helped you. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate if you could give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, it would mean a ton to me. I create a whole ton of content about making money online, especially about KDP and low content books and all that jazz. So if that's something that interests you, please follow along and subscribe. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.